At Home with Lucas here. So today we're going to be talking about the iRobot Roomba J7 Plus. Yes, people, I finally got a self-emptying Roomba. This thing literally does pretty much everything. It has the ability to scan and notify that there's poop in the room and avoid it with all cost, which is absolutely amazing because sometimes your pets have an accident when you're gone or while you're sleeping, and you do not want that robot vacuum to go over that and cause a crazy mess. Not to mention the fact that it has a camera right on the front of it, which is going to allow it to see new stuff as it's going around the room. So if you drop a pair of cables, if you drop some earbuds, if you drop something on the floor, it's gonna see it and avoid it at all costs. At least that's what we hope. We'll be testing that for sure in this video. This thing also has a whole bunch of other tricks up its sleeve. It has dual brushes. Yes, they're rubber too. So they're not regular brushes, they're rubber brushes, which Roomba, I think, is basically saying is the best for multi-surfaces. So this is gonna clean your hardwood, your linoleum, your tile, and your carpet. Yes, this is going to be a carpet cleaning beast. This thing will return back to the dock to charge and to empty its tank. Yes, it'll empty the dustbin straight into a bag. Now you're thinking, oh no, a bag that's throwaway, I gotta buy more. The benefit of having a bag is that you will get zero dust back into your house. It'll all get trapped in that bag, and then you throw the bag away, no dust coming back in your house. A lot of these other self-emptying robot vacuums, you're gonna have to take that bin out and then dump it in the trash can, which is going to produce dust and hair and whatever back into your house where you just cleaned it. So this thing potentially is the best of the best of the best, not to mention the fact that it looks really, really handsome and really sleek. This thing, of course, has the ability to room map. Yes, so it's gonna go around the room, it's gonna go around your house, it's gonna map each floor. You can have a 3-story house, a 6-story house. You could set each floor to a different name and different names for each room. So it's really cool. It will be able to map your entire house, no matter if you have a single floor, double or triple, or whatever you have. This thing is gonna map everything. You're gonna be able to name each room, which means you're gonna be able to tell it to go and vacuum one room in particular. So if you just wanted to vacuum your pantry because you spilled a bunch of rice, boom, you just tell it, go clean the pantry, and away it goes. This thing also has the ability to clean to the edge. So it has an edge sweeping brush, which means it's going to get all of that pet hair, all the crumbs out from the cabinets and from around your baseboards, and keep your house even cleaner than other vacuums out there. At least that's what we hope. So we have very high hopes for this vacuum. It's expensive, it has a lot of features, it has a lot of tech. It's got a camera on the front with a light. Yes, a light turns on when this thing is running. Day or night, it'll turn that light on if it needs to see what's going on, which is really, really awesome. So in this video, we're doing a hands-on with the box, quick unboxing and first impressions on said Roomba. After that, I'm gonna be putting this bad boy to the At Home Lucas test to figure out is it something you should buy or maybe skip altogether. I'm here for you, so don't have to waste your time buying and returning. All right, let's go ahead and jump into it. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is the J7 Plus right here, iRobot Roomba. This thing is massive, people. This is the biggest robot vacuum I've ever seen. So let's go ahead and get inside that box and take a look at all the goodies. And there we go. Everything has been removed. The only thing is the power cable and the little spinny thing are in a separate box. Let's go ahead and walk around this beautiful thing. This thing is really nice. It only has one button on the front, which is a complete departure. Usually there's 3 right here. This almost looks like it's gonna be a display, which will be very excited if that's the case. You have the iRobot logo right there. And on the front here, you have your camera sensor, which is looking really, really cool. You have some more sensors on the side here. This bump bar is a complete departure. It's a little bit smaller, and it looks like it's gonna bank off of this and the sensors versus actually touching anything. So let's hope that this is the most nimble, best robot vacuum on the market, but we won't know, of course, until we get into it. Let's go ahead and take a look at the bottom. Whoa, we have our green. So if you follow this channel, the last ones were not green, they were gray, and it was kind of annoying. This is the dustbin right here. You push this button, it pops out. That's pretty small, but nonetheless, it's going to auto dump, so it should be clear at all times, and you should probably never have to use this, but it's super easy to take in and out. There is a wheel on this one, and this is how it goes and dumps everything into the dock over here, which is really cool. You have your spinny wheels, you have your spinny thing right here. They're kind of sticking with this rubber thing. I guess this is better for carpet than actually having brushes. So if you think that's wrong, let me know, of course. There's the charging pads right there. And then you have your 4 stair sensors all over the place. Of course, this being a Roomba, it is a low rider. This thing is gonna get some great suction on the carpet. It's really gonna perform great. Off the bat, my first impressions, this is the best looking Roomba I've ever seen. Let's go to the dock, people. This thing is beautiful. It's so handsome. You have this leather or fake leather. I'm gonna just probably say it's fake leather. Little strap right here, little handle. You pull this up and boom, you're into something completely different. I'm not sure what I bought, people. I don't know what this is right off the bat. I didn't read all the information, but there are bags in here. There's 2 bags inside of here. There's a little bit of an instruction right there. We'll find that out later on. On the back, it looks like we actually have cord management. Then at the bottom, you have your charging pads right here. There's little slots for the wheels to sit right here, and this is where it's going to suck all the debris into that bad boy right there. All right, let's go ahead and get this thing set up. All right, here we go. This is its new home right here, sitting right next to the coffee bar. I think it looks awesome right there, very handsome. I love the fact that it's elevated off the ground. First ever robot vacuum to not actually sit on the ground. Very, very awesome, really sleek, and my boy can get up on it. Okay, it's pretty bright in the house, and yet it has its LED light on, which is kind of funny. It's hitting my other vacuum that's under my bar right there, but it's got a light on the front, which is kind of blinding. It shoots straight up at you. And it's supposedly mapping and doing all this stuff with the camera, and yet it seems to be just smashing into things, kind of like a Roomba bounce. Very strange. So the first problem I'm noticing is that this does not have a LiDAR on the top, or like the Shark AI had a AI sensor on the top that runs across the top. What that does is it allows it to basically fly through the room and map out the whole room with LiDAR. This thing is relying on some kind of camera on the front, and that really limits its ability to see the room around it. So it's doing a pretty rudimentary Roomba bounce at times, where it just hits right against something as if it can't and didn't know that there was something there. So for the price that I'm paying for this thing, I'm gonna be very critical, because this should not be doing this. It should be mapping the room really quickly, but instead it's doing a mapping of the room that is really what you see on low quality room mapping vacuums. So this is kind of silly. All right, so the first use of this thing right here, it's making some really nice stripes. Definitely not the best I've ever seen, but we'll wait till we get it upstairs to some of the fresher carpet. This carpet is high traffic area, but you can see it's really pulling out the fibers, and it's looking really nice. I like that a lot. And it's pretty quiet right here. It's not loud at all. It's a little crooked. But we'll come back and see how it is in a minute. But so far, so good. That's pretty fast, too. All right, let's check the damage. So it cleaned this room here. It cleaned that entire room over there. This area here, it cleaned into that bathroom. Cleaned, of course, the entryway over there. Then it cleaned this whole section right here. Cleaned all the way in here. And then it cleaned in here and went back to the charge to empty out the bag. That's pretty good. So because this thing doesn't have a LiDAR, it basically does a form of
Roomba bounce, if you will, where it goes around and bumps into everything to kind of map out your house. And it does it in such a way that it's just really, really silly, and it really shows you the value of LiDAR. Like, this is, if you had a LiDAR robot, it would basically go through your house, scan everything really quickly, know where all the edges are, and then begin to clean your house in a very efficient way. Whereas this thing has to rely on bumping into things, basically. Even though it has sensors on it and a giant camera in the front with a light, it still cannot help but basically be a Roomba. And I don't understand, for this price point, how this thing doesn't have LiDAR or some other form of room scanning. It's just ridiculous.
Okay, this shows a little bit more of the room mapping capabilities. It has, of course, an LED light, and then it also has some infrared lights on the side, so it really does light up in a very spaceship-like way. It's quite interesting, and it definitely can see at night, but not as well as LiDAR once again.
Okay, let's take a look at what Rudy did. We're going to check the map right here. And whoa, actually did a pretty good job. This thing did a great job of mapping my upstairs. I'm totally impressed with the mapping now. It is really cool. And they actually have some smart stuff in here that's really cool.
This thing was a display right here, but it's actually not. It is a notification ring, basically. And it's actually showing me right now that we're about half full charge. So it's a notification ring that will show you the notifications of the device and then the battery percentage. It's a real misstep, though. I really think they could have just thrown a little display in there and made this really expensive vacuum just that much better. But instead, they removed all information from here. So this is a multifunction button, obviously, but it's just strange. There's nothing on there at all. Like, you would think they would put something on there to sort of give you the understanding that that is a button. But if you use the app and you use the scheduling, you don't really touch that ever. So I guess they're kind of going to phase that out maybe at some point where it's not a button. But yeah, wish it was a display. We're going to be putting this bad boy to the pet waste test. Now don't worry, I'm not going to be actually trying to run over some dog poop with this bad boy. I'm going to be using some Nutella. Okay, there we go. I actually think that looks like dog turd. That is hilarious. That really does look like a poop. So I can imagine this thing is going to basically see that and go, oh no, a dog pooped on a piece of plastic. So let's go ahead and do the test. It's going right for it. Wow. I'm like just thinking of the mess that this could make if it goes wrong. Look at it, it's literally running away. That is hilarious. Just gonna drop it right in front. Wow, that's good. That's good. That is good. And it's like thinking right now. It's like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta go. Definitely passed the poop waste test. Okay, let's walk through the app real quick. So this app is actually really cool, and one of the best features of this app presents itself right away when it actually can tell you where it is vacuuming. That is a game changer for me. I do wish that maybe they would allow you to see the camera as like a live feed so you could watch your vacuum vacuuming. I don't know why, but there's something about knowing where your vacuum is at all times and being able to check in real quick. I don't know, for me personally, that's really cool. But the fact they tell you where it is awesome, because you could set it to vacuum one specific room, or you could set it to vacuum multiple rooms, and you sometimes just want to be able to check in and see exactly where it's vacuuming. So I have made a bunch of favorites. This vacuum does a great job of following what you tell it. For the most part, I am having trouble in my second floor master bedroom. It seems to not want to vacuum that. I had to actually go and set it to clean all. But here's some of my settings right here. You can actually set a favorite, and then you can change it to 1 pass or 2 pass. And I love the fact that it tells you how much time it's going to take. So right here, 56 minutes for a double pass, turn it to 1, boom, 28 minutes.
That's awesome. So it really shows you that you're going to spend a lot more time on a double pass than a single pass. So that's great. Then it tells you the exact amount of time it's going to take down at the bottom, which is really cool. And then you could do things like if your kid is napping in one room, but you still want to clean the upstairs, you just remove that room from the rooms and you change it to baby napping, which is really cool. So they really do a great job with the favorites with this vacuum in particular. All the other robot vacuums I've used in the past, the favorites were not as interesting for me personally because of the limitations of those vacuums. Of course, I have to have my schedule running at 2 a.m. There's just something about that that's really cool, to have your robot vacuum go out when you're fast asleep. And then, of course, you can go into the history, and this is where you're going to start to see a lot of problems with this vacuum in particular. So it doesn't work all the time, and it's starting to get worse and worse and worse over time. I'll wake up in the morning, and boom, I can just see that it's literally just sitting in a room, and it says it couldn't make it back to dock, even though all the doors were open, and there was no reason for it to not make it back to dock. Here we go, it got stuck. The cool thing is, if you click down here, you could see the picture that it took. So it'll actually take a picture and show you where it got stuck to help, basically fix that problem so it doesn't happen again. But sometimes it'll get stuck and there's nothing around it and there's no reason for it to be stuck. So, and then here's one where the bin was full and it wouldn't empty. So, yeah, so sometimes it just chooses not to empty the bin in the dock. Click back here, go here, and you could see that there was a cord down or whatever. It got stuck. So yeah, so it definitely has its problems. As you can see here, it just is either stuck or didn't finish cleaning, just over and over and over again. So there's definitely a lot of problems. Let's go to lifetime over here. There's definitely a lot of problems. We did 44 jobs, 21 hours of clean time, and 30 cleaning in the automatic. That is awesome. So the history is great. I love that. You can jump into there. Product health, this is really cool. You can see when you're going to need to change your filter, your brushes, and whatnot. So that's really cool. Oh, I like the fact that it shows the dirt disposal. Oh, right. So we're basically almost halfway through. That is cool. You can order new ones. That's the best. You can just click there, order new ones. That's great. So the app is definitely good, but I've given it digs in the past with other robot vacuums I've reviewed, and that's just because you have these two at the bottom, which I think are pointless. They should not be here. This should be like, they should pull out product health and put it right here. They should pull out product settings maybe and put it right here, and then they should put these two, messages and store, maybe up in the top right or something, because I don't really think that people are interested in scrolling all the way down like this just to get to a simple setting of the product. You can enable child lock, which is great. So it's a good app. It's got a lot of features. It did get an update several times, which made it better. You can go into map right here, and this is where you can name stuff. So you go into here and you can name the bedroom. I had to remap my master bedroom, like I said. Save this map. Yes, it looks good. It was having problems with that earlier. So the mapping is good. It definitely does a great job. And the app works really well, does its jobs.
Alright, let's take a look at the obstacle avoidance. So I have some random stuff that's left on the ground right here, so we're going to see how well it actually avoids it. So there's a pair of glasses. It got really close, did some thinking, but then it ultimately turned and went another way, which is really good. Then it's going to come up on this shirt right here. Let's see what it does when it gets near the shirt. It looks at it very strangely and then takes off. It may have taken a picture, I'm not sure. It loves to take pictures. And now it's coming back around, and let's see what happens when it gets closer. Okay, now it's actually run over my daughter's little wand right here. I didn't notice it right away when watching the footage, but I noticed it on the pass when I was editing. I was like, there is a wand stuck out of the side of this robot vacuum. You can see it right there. It's just dragging it around. and then it literally carries it for quite some time like it's a like it's a princess, which is kind of funny. And then it just randomly pops it out on accident and then moves it out of the way. Here's our duck right here. Ooh, did a great job avoiding the duck. That is really cool. Goes around it, and it basically just vacuums as if that's a no zone, which is really cool. Here comes the shirt once more. Let's see what happens when it comes up near it. Okay, so it definitely failed that right there. Now, ooh, it learned on that pass, so it did. Okay, so it definitely did a great job in the loft. Let's see how well it does in our living room. So I told it to go to living room. And like always, Roombas take a minute to get there, and they sometimes just bump into walls just randomly, just for fun. Now we're going to go into our living room here, and we have a few things out that are big. Should avoid it very, very easily. No big deal. But here you can see it's making really good straight lines, which is really awesome. This thing does a really good job at vacuuming carpet. Very, very happy with it. And its obstacle avoidance is good. It's not perfect. It still does the Roomba bounce where it smashes into things quite often. And some things it just avoids entirely. So I'm not sure why it still has to actually smash into things like it does, as you can see here. So obstacle avoidance is like smaller objects just sitting on the carpet. It will avoid them at all cost. Obviously, like we saw earlier, the pet waste, it will avoid at all cost. But it really tries to make straight lines, and it does a great job. It really makes your carpet look fresh and new and beautiful, and I really applaud it on how those dual rollers clean the carpet. And then once it gets full of debris, it'll go back to the bin and empty it, or it'll go back for charging, or both. So right here, it's shooting its way back to the charger, and it does a great job of finding its way home. I'm very happy with the way that this robot vacuum works. It'll just literally make its way home most of the time. Sometimes it gets stuck in weird places, but it does a great job.
Okay, I kid you not, that is like a little jet engine. It is so loud, and definitely the loudest one I've ever heard. Okay, let's talk about this dock real quick. So this dock really does a great job of pulling out every last little bit from the Roomba. It's really, really cool. The only thing is the fact that that little port right down there, if that gets clogged, if someone drops a toy in there or something happens, that is going to fully clog it, and I don't know exactly how you're going to be able to clean that out. I don't know if there's a quick way to pop this apart really easily, because this basically runs, as we saw in the video, all the way up here, and it sucks it into there. So that's the only thing. This is fully exposed. I kind of wish there was a flap here or something, and it would then like open the flap and then suck in that way, but there is no flap. You could drop something in there, it could work its way back and then get fully clogged. But I don't know what is gonna clog this thing, because it's like a jet engine, people. This is so powerful, super amazing. 60 days, yes, this is barely half full, and I've been using it for 30 days, so I could definitely say for sure 60 days. Now, if you had a lot of pet hair and you had a pretty aggressive household with a lot of debris, this might drop below 60 for sure. My household is not very dirty, and it's not very messy, so this is definitely maybe 60 days. I like the fact that you have spare bags over here. You literally just pull this off right here and you're good to go. Throw it in the trash. The biggest part about this that sells me is the fact that no dust and debris is going to get back in your house through your trash can. These bags are absolutely amazing. They're gonna trap all the dust, all the debris, all the pet hair, all the gunk right in there. You just pull it out, throw it away. You never get a single bit of dust back in your house. So this, to me, 5 out of 5 stars. Okay, I've been using this bad boy for long enough that I think I have a full star rating. Let's just start off with the build quality. So this thing is built just like any other robot vacuum out there. It's plastic on plastic on plastic, but it really does look really handsome. It's not the best looking Roomba that I've used, it has some scuff marks on it, which is kind of funny. You're like, how are you getting so much scuff marks on you? It's got hair on it, it's got dust and debris. It's kind of funny how much this thing is, you know, a lot of it can just wipe off. You can clean it really quickly with a microfiber and some water, but it definitely is not the prettiest over time. It started off looking really, really cool, looking like a record, and now it's just kind of like scuffed up, dusty, a little bit dirty. I kind of wish that they would put some different material on here, maybe some soft touch or some felt or something on here that is not just plastic. I think that they could easily skin this with something. The way that they have this looking so handsome up here, you would just think maybe throw some fake leather on the front here and let it not look like this over time. But nonetheless, it definitely did its job. So I'm going to give this thing a solid 4.2 star rating. I'm going to say it did have a few more stuck positions that it got in and problems emptying the bin and just being stuck literally in the middle of nothing. It would just be stuck and it would not do its job. So definitely had its problems. The button up here I'm not a fan of. I really wish that was a display and it told us a little bit more information. They really don't want you to push that button. They want you to use the app pretty much fully or use a schedule. So definitely not the best robot vacuum that I've ever used, but it's really good. The dock is the best. So I wish that the dock would be just as good as this, but this is not that good. I don't know what iRobot's doing, but their robot vacuums are just not the best at doing simple tasks. They fail more often than they should, and I really wish they would figure out a way to not have these things fail as much.
All right, there you go. That's the iRobot Roomba J7 Plus. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely clearly clack that like button. And if you want to join the Adam Lucas family and you want to be a part of this crew, hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.